Hey, I wanted to reach out to say congratulations. And why I'm saying congratulations is because you made it through one of the toughest years in recorded history in our business. We've lost countless real estate agents, 32,000 loan officers didn't renew their license. And I'm very, very excited. And not only did I want to congratulate you, but I want to share my excitement and tie it in with some data and some up to speed data that has me really excited for our bright future. So first and foremost, I want to nip a myth right in the bud. So even vetted agents have come to me and say, I've heard, well, when the Fed increased the Fed fund rate, that's going to affect the 30-year mortgages. They're going to increase. And it's quite the opposite, actually. The arch enemy of mortgage rates is inflation. When the Fed increased the Fed fund rate, that affects variable rates, not the 30-year fixed rate. Why is inflation the arch enemy of mortgage rates? Because mortgages are bonds and they have a fixed return. So if my money is going to be worth less in the future, the only way to offset that is to increase the rate, right? So we see mortgage rates track closely with inflation. And if we look back at history, it makes me very excited about what's to come because we're at the end of a cycle where things are going to swing to our favor. So if we go back to 70s with Volcker all the way up to Powell, you'll see the same thing happen time and time again. The inflation goes up, mortgage rates track and go up as well. The Fed increases the Fed's fund rate to cool things down. Inflation goes down and mortgage rates also go down. The market corrects itself. We find ourselves in a recession. In fact, some would say we're in a recession now. The silly part about that is we don't learn until after the fact if we're in a recession or not. But the reality is, here's where we're at today, which is very exciting. Inflation got really, really high, actually got up to 9.1% when you're looking at the consumer price index. And now we're down to 5%, just under 4.9% right now. So inflation is going down. So what's going to happen with mortgage rates? Mortgage rates are going to go down. Now, there's a couple little things that have kind of been bumps in the road that perpetuated these higher rates. I'll name a couple. I won't get into too many details. Look at my last video if you want to get really in the nitty gritty. But for example, shelter costs making up 43% of the CPI, the servicing costs in mortgages, some of these things have perpetuated these higher rates a little longer than we wanted to. And another thing I wanted to talk about, which is bad news that turns into good news. And May 10th was an exciting day. That was where Consumer Price Index was coming out with a report that was going to be huge for us. There's a very high number that was being replaced. So the CPI is a rolling 12-month average. And so in May 10th, the new number was for April of this year, which would have replaced April of 2022. April of 2022 was a high number that was going to be replaced by a very low number. That was going to be a nice smack in the face to mortgage rates, and the bonds in turn were going to be positive as well. So we were very excited about that. We should have seen a nice improvement in rates. Unfortunately, the Bureau of Labor and Statistics kind of rained on our parade. So that report came out and it wasn't as impactful as we were liked. It was like Christmas morning for me, and it didn't quite turn out that way. So why? Because the BLS decided that they were going to change the numbers from the original report, which was, they didn't call me or any of my friends, unfortunately. Just they don't care about the small guys to let us know. So the reality was they reduced the number on May of 2022. They changed it to a lower number. So instead of replacing a high number, we replaced a slightly lower number, which didn't quite have the impact that we wanted. But here's some good news. They did not change May and June, which comes out in June and July. So we're still going to have Christmas. It's just a month late. So be excited because this CPI report, inflation is coming down. This CPI report being replaced in June is going to be a big deal. There's another one in July, and I got more good news. So where they did us dirty in April, they did us better in other areas. They actually increased the end of 2022. So that's exciting. So now they took that number and increased it. So we're going to be replacing higher numbers, which comes out the end of this year. So it's very, very exciting because we're going to be that's going to help mortgage rates significantly at the end of this year. So we're really going to start building some steam over this summer, which is very exciting. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, that's great, Keelan. Mortgage rates go down, but my customers don't have anything to buy. And I agree with you. There's 14 million households looking for a million houses, actually 980,000. But the reality is we have a supply demand issue. And even once rates gone down a little bit, the other month, I saw more people getting pre-approved than I saw for months previous. So I know there's a huge demand hanging out. Well, if you think about this, there's some other things that we want to account for. First and foremost, the average amount of equity in a home right now is 58%. Black Knight did a survey, and it was 185,000 is the average equity in a home, and that's not in kind of our area where you'd have to assume those are lower numbers. 58% of $1 million house is a lot more equity. So there's people that are sitting on a boatload of cash. When interest rates get low enough, it's going to make sense for these people to offload this cash to upgrade into a new home, and they're going to have to sell their existing home. I think that's going to help with inventory. Not only that, I'm already seeing some refinances go down in our industry at this point. And you're probably thinking, how the heck's that going to happen, Keelan? People have 3% interest rates. Why would they refinance right now? Well, because savings is down significantly. People are out of money. So you can see savings, and you'll see the three spikes from the stimulus and COVID. And then you'll see that now that savings is down below pre-COVID levels. So people have used all their cash. And what do? They went and put all their money on credit cards. So we've seen credit cards go through the roof. So and also remember the Fed increasing variable rates, the rates on credit cards have increased as well. So it's been harder for them to pay back. So these people sitting on a boatload of cash are doing cash out refinances right now to get themselves out of that mess. I mean, it might seem crazy to go from a 3% interest rate to a 6.5% interest rate, but if you're saving $2,000 a month and you no longer have that because you paid off your credit cards, and you throw that at your mortgage, you're sitting pretty after the fact. You pay that thing off in like 12 years. Not only that, but when rates do go down, now you've done your cash out refinance, you can refinance again to a rate and term, which is even better. So you're going to capture the highest rate, or excuse me, the best rates at that time when you do refinance and ride off to the sunset. And some of these people are even step-up buyers. So they're cashing out, paying off their credit cards, and they're going to buy themselves a new home after they do that, realizing that, marry the price, date the rate. I think it's well overused at this point, but the reality is, the price is forever and they can always refinance. So we're already seeing some of this stuff free up. And so be excited, keep your head up, keep your chin up. Congratulations, you made it. We are on our way to lower rates. I'm certain, not guessing, I'm certain we're going to have a very bright future here in the next couple of years. Congratulations. I hope this helps.